I firmly believe that we have the opportunity to position cities like Cleveland for the future. And really, the city of future will be a sustainable city, not just in terms of its environment, but in terms of practice and in terms of how our economy operates, and how politics operate, and how a social system operates. Because underlining all sustainability is equity and getting rid of disparity.
We're here today at the Sterling Resource and Recreation Center. It's one of the city's 22 centers around the community that are open to all ages. And today, it's the senior produce market that we do in partnership with the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. And so today we'll serve more than 300 older adults and often their family members as well, and provide them with free, fresh produce and also resources and information while they're here.
In my opinion, it's just imperative that we figure out how we can get the whole community involved. Even, when we look at areas like Garden Valley and we talk about food deserts, and the need for a food pantry like this. The other thing we're working with Garden Valley on is solar panels, so they can afford the high utility bills that come with trying to keep the electricity on with this food pantry.
Since 2009, we have worked with thousands of businesses, conducting nearly 2,000 energy audits, working with businesses to create that framework to help them understand where are their priorities for energy efficiency, outlining those recommendations and putting them in touch with the contractors to actually make those projects come to life.
The Cleveland 2030 District has about 59 million square feet of participating property. That's about 300 buildings. We actually began as a working group at the 2010 summit. And that working group was tasked with finding ways to engage commercial buildings in reducing their energy consumption. Very proud to say that our participating buildings on average are running over 20% below baseline in all three metrics: the energy consumption, water consumption, and transportation emissions.
Well, the solar field is a 1.1 megawatt solar field. We produce 1 million watts of electricity a year. There's 4,200 solar panels on the field, and it's a remediated brownfield. We have saved roughly 600,000 gallons of gasoline. We've reduced CO2 emissions by 5,200 tons. We have carbon offsets of, say, 131 trees. So this has been very helpful because Cleveland has a climate action plan. And some of the goals in the Cleveland Action Plan, they fit very well into the outgrowth of our solar field.
The city of Cleveland has an opportunity to make an impact in how we approach this work well beyond the city of Cleveland. Many cities are contending with challenges around revitalization of their urban core, of taking an inclusive approach to community development, to supporting a diverse population in ways that meet the needs of their communities. Really trying to grapple with a legacy of environmental pollution and environmental injustice that many of our communities are facing. So sustainable, inclusive, environmentally friendly, and just community development in cities like Cleveland are just at the core of what I think the entire country needs to get right in order to secure a sustainable future for all of us.
Our stormwater management program has really shined a light on the streams, the Doan Brook, Big Creek, and the other streams that are within the city as well as across our service area. We've done great restoration work on Doan Brook through Rockefeller Park, and really I think over the last 10 years we've seen a transformation. The third Saturday of each September, we have a Clean Water Fest where we invite the community into our Southerly wastewater treatment plant. So folks can tour our lab and they can tour the wastewater treatment plant and they can meet all of our staff and our partners. And so it's a great opportunity for folks to see how much it takes to clean water 24/7, 365.
So our effort has gone from looking at traditional water infrastructure, the pipes, all that's really important. We really support our partners in that. But we've evolved into this world of smart and connected systems. I'm talking to you today from the Midtown Tech Hive. the day that we brought together this concept of all those great people doing work in the water space from an environmental standpoint with all these great people in the technology space, and this marriage came together. 10 years ago, when people were first starting about this effort, they wouldn't have thought through that lens. So it's evolved in terms of new opportunities, new technologies.
You are standing currently in Green City Growers, which is the largest urban hydroponic greenhouse in the U.S. It's 3.25 acres under glass on a 12-acre site, and it employs around 50 people, about 35 of whom are worker owners. And we produce about 300,000 heads of lettuce a month here that primarily go to restaurants, anchor institutions, food service, and grocery stores, retail.
Potluck in the Park started in 2012, and we've done that every year up until 2018 as a way to bring residents together from both the east side and the west side of Cleveland to share in a meal, but also to learn about what we were doing in vital neighborhoods. The various projects that we have done have really helped to create the space for neighbors to come together, to learn from one another, and to make connections to advance different initiatives that they're working on themselves.
The beauty of Sustainable Cleveland 2019 is that it has really focused on residents and giving them the power to create within this space. Not only have organizations been created, but we've really been focused on bringing people together. And that's a legacy that we should keep going as we look forward beyond 2019.
We have customers that come and bring us gifts out of things that they have made from materials that they get in our shop. And that is affirming on a level that is constantly meaningful. Also, from a metrics perspective, we've taken in 27 tons of materials. So people generously donate to us, and we weigh those donations, and it's kind of nice to be able to quantify that. So it's bigger than we realize, and it wouldn't exist without more people being part of the whole picture with us.
Right behind me is Edgewater Beach, and Drink Local Drink Tap has been doing beach cleanups here since 2010 as an alliance for the Great Lakes Adopt-A-Beach team, partnering with many different organizations in Cleveland, such as Sustainable Cleveland, the Greater Cleveland Aquarium, and many others. And to this day, we're still finding tons of plastic, so it's very important for all of us to help out our Great Lake and pick that stuff up.
We have to get much more determined and direct and even disruptive of the status quo. One of the first things we need to do is tackle the fossil fuel industry that's been shaping our world for far too long, undermining our democracy, and preventing us from making the transition to a clean energy economy that we need.
A recent initiative that's layering over Sustainable Cleveland and our bikeway planning process and how we think about mobility in general is Vision Zero, which is a statement and a goal and an aspiration for zero fatalities or serious injuries on the transportation network. There are a lot of partners engaged around that locally now, and it's really shaping how we look at road design, driver behavior, enforcement, and just general culture around transportation.
You can reduce your greenhouse gas emissions. You can get some free exercise if you ride your bicycle. When you know better, you do better. So we as Bike Cleveland, that is one of our missions, to encourage and to give that information out and to give the resources out.
So we're out here today with the Cleveland Department of Aging and Cleveland City Planning doing one of our Silver Spokes programs, which is a program geared towards senior citizens, kind of encouraging them to get back out on a bike and educating them on how to get back out on a bike safely and how to drive around people riding bikes safely. For me, the work at Bike Cleveland is really about building a community where active transportation is a safe, logical choice. I have 2 young kids that are hopefully going to be in Cleveland all their lives, and giving them the opportunity to be able to get around the city on bike or walk safely is really, for me, what this is all about.
I think the work that we're doing with respect to mobility, a lot of the work that we've done around vacant land reuse, a lot of the work that we've done around creating walkable neighborhoods, these are all things that we see happening in our environment. We see Cleveland changing for the better as a result of approaching our work through the lens of sustainability.
As we move forward, going beyond 2019, I think it's really imperative that we make sure that parks And not only parks, but also trees and our tree canopy are part of the larger conversations that are happening in Cleveland. And so when we're talking about economic development, we should be talking about trees and parks. When we talk about health equity and infant mortality, we should be talking about trees and parks.
This here takes a site that was once an industrial site and has been abandoned for almost 2 decades and is now going to be repurposed for the community as a green infrastructure site, but also a park, and it connects to our trail. And each year we've held an Arbor Day event where we have planted 20 to 25 trees. Most of it has been on private property, but the one year we also were able to replant some street trees that we had lost.
The backstory is this area was once called the Forgotten Triangle, a legal dump ground with a lot of illicit activity that occurred here. But to see that transformation take place has been huge for us and for our community. Take, for example, Otter Park. Before our presence here and the activity, no one would frequent the park because basically it was intimidating. But after coming on site, directing the hoop houses, the greenhouses, the activity, bringing in plants, a tree orchard, now families come. You see people walking their dogs in the morning. You see picnics. You see all this activity now that has brought a community alive that was once considered dead and forgotten. We know that the leadership of the City of Cleveland has taken sustainability very serious and have been very supportive to the efforts of Rittal and other projects throughout the city to really make Cleveland a thought leader in sustainability around the country. And we're just glad to be a part of that sustainability family.
So having that support, having that effort, having that partnership has been crucial and key, especially in those early days. When you're a new entity, a new organization, it takes some people putting planting a flag, and Sustainable Cleveland did that with us.
Sustainable Cleveland 2019 has created new connections, new relationships, and generated new ideas for how we approach businesses and work with our community stakeholders to advance the region to make this a greener city on a blue lake.
What the Cuyahoga River Fire did to raise awareness about what we were doing to our environment, I'm hopeful Sustainable Cleveland can serve that same role of how to pivot your community and set us on the right path towards quality of life for everyone.
So as we accelerate progress over these next few years, building off the foundation we've created with Sustainable Cleveland, whether you're talking about energy, to waste, to access to water, transportation, and down the line, who is benefiting? Is everyone benefiting? Who's getting those jobs? Are the most vulnerable people, the people that need them most, getting those jobs? So a lot of our focus going forward is how do you integrate in a very real way equity at the core of sustainability? And that is a big challenge, and it's also one we cannot afford to fail on.
I'm really thankful for all of the people that I've had the opportunity to work with through Sustainable Cleveland. We just have some really awesome people here doing awesome stuff, and we are so lucky to have such a broad base of concerned citizens that do want to roll up their sleeves and do the hard work to get things done and make our city better.